philosophy. You have never left school. In fact, school is life, life is school. The curriculum of your life, you're in it. You're in it, my friends. You just didn't get a syllabus. And most of us are missing the framework to truly understand that that which is arising in your life right now, it is your path through. It is your learning journey. I don't want to guarantee what will come out of the 6-month program because honestly, everyone is in a slightly different context. And that's part of the relating patterns that we'll get into over the 6 months. But here's some of the details. So it will be 6 months of interaction. Every other week will be a 90-minute group call, and the opposite weeks will be a one-on-one call with me so that we can really dig in deep. We will have a WhatsApp group that we will be communicating with to keep the conversation alive. There will be action work and there will be inner work. It is the same. It is the same. So what are we digging into? If that's the question, this is what is arising for me now. It is a deep dive into yourself, really leveling up your self-awareness in ways that will have a lifelong impact. Not only for you, obviously, but for everyone that you share your life with. Some of the basic questions, we will be guided by questions. So every week there will be a different question to ponder because I'm asking these questions too. I'll share resources. But I think it's really, I trust each one of you to be able to discover yourself and to learn what you need to learn by just being asked the question. The problem is that most of us don't spend time in this category of asking ourselves these deep, meaningful questions. So 2 of the most basic questions in the program will be, am I safe in this relationship? Am I safe in this relationship? That goes with people, that goes with yourself, that goes with objects, like food and money, or, in your environment. Our nervous system is the first thing to respond. And whether or not we are actually threatened or think we're threatened, when our nervous system responds, our whole world shifts. That is, everything is filtered through that lens of fight or flight. So the question is, can I create safe, loving, healthy relationships with everything and everyone around me? That feels crazy and daunting, but I think that's life itself. The question that comes to mind a lot for me is, can I be with what is arising? Can I be with what is arising? And, I'll be honest, a lot of times it's no. A lot of times the pattern of relating comes from attachment theory, right? Because that is the way that we relate. We show up in relationships is through that particular lens. Am I safe? Great. I'm secure. I can be with what is arising. That feels, those aren't going to hold the lessons for you. You're already going to be safe there, which is great. And the other places, the other extremes, like, oh, I'm avoiding, I am really pulling away. Why? Because I'm unsafe. Or, oh my God, I'm being ridiculously controlling. Why? Because I'm unsafe. Oh, what if I empower myself to create safety here? I'm going to make a caveat here. If this is a new conversation for you and you haven't quite dived, I don't know what it is, into your own mind-body connection, I will ask you to start with the self-love course, because this 6-month program is really for people that feel like they at least have somewhat of a handle on their own inner workings of thoughts, feelings, just like you heard my friend mention. He is now seeing those patterns of the way he relates to his emotions and now can more healthily be with emotions. Now he's more healthily related to his thoughts, can be with those thoughts and let them go without getting grippy, controlling, or avoiding, which creates resistance, which literally just holds those thoughts in place. So it's the same thing. If that is a new thing for you, do the self-love course. Let me know and I'll put you on the wait list. If you're like, okay, Megan, I have a handle on that. I've been practicing it for a while. I'm aware, and my life is still showing up in this way where I like some parts of it, or I really want to go deeper. I feel like I'm through survival mode and now I want to thrive, and I want the skill set to thrive. This is it. These are those patterns that I want to bring up. So, yeah, like I was saying, you can look at your nervous system as being an indicator. And also in Michael Singer's framework, he talks about just being open. When our heart and mind are open, we are able to fully show up. And that's been the theme of Emory since we started, is that path of going back into my heart, of feeling open, of knowing when it's closed down and understanding why and not making myself wrong, and, creating a life that fits, right? So it's like this biological view and maybe a more spiritual view that I'd like to bring together so that you can see the patterns in your life. Because there's so much happening inside. What is happening inside gets reflected out in our outside world, and what is happening in their outside world is what is inside. It is one and the same. There might be a little lag there sometimes. Sometimes you can make a shift internally. You can have a new way of relating to yourself, a new identity, a new decision that you make about yourself. And then you're like, oh man, my outside world like doesn't match this. And then you'll see little by little, sometimes it's fast, then your outside world will start to match your inside world. Or sometimes you're going to be faced with massive challenges out here, and that can start to shift the way that you relate to yourself. And then your outer chaos then kind of gets like quickly absorbed. So it's this crazy balance between the two. We are creating our environment and are created by it. And it's just like the mind body. They both are interrelated. And that's why relationships, to me, it's at the center. Everything is in relationship to everything else, which feels really, really big. So we'll chunk it down over 6 months to understand what are the patterns of relating. What are your patterns of relating? Where might you be avoiding things? Where might you be overly controlling things? How do you create a secure relationship with yourself and the world around you? Some other patterns of relating that have come up for me, and I'm sure I will discover more, they are resources. Every living thing needs to be resourced, right? A plant needs minerals and water and sunlight. We are biological living beings. We have needs. We have needs on the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual realms. And all of those play into everything, the amount of energy that we have, how we show up in the world. So there's a main through line question, which is, am I resourced? Am I resourced? And am I allowing for those resources? Am I avoidant? Am I controlling? How am I relating to my resources? Another thing that we'll get into is agreements. I love this story. Actually, my mom agreed to test out psilocybin with me when she was down here visiting, and she did a light dose. I did a light dose. It was really nice. And right towards the end, the insight that came up to me was, it was just like this: I am a walking ball of agreements. I am a walking ball of agreements. And ever since that moment, which was maybe 2 months ago, I'm laughing, because that is the baseline of a relationship is an agreement. Now, we don't think about our relationships that way. We're born into certain agreements in our culture. Many of you are listening to this podcast because you've started to shift the agreement of how you need to relate in an intimate or romantic sense, that it is possible to love more than one person at a time. That is a shift of agreement. But I bet you never even said, like, when you were growing up, I agree. I agree to love one person at a time. No, we didn't do that. We stepped into agreements. And most of our life is built out of, I would say, like 95% are just agreements that we didn't know we agreed to. And when we start to see our life and the way that we behave in certain environments, with ourselves, with others, it's a ball of agreements. I'm sure that there are some agreements working for you. Keep those. I'm sure that there are some agreements that are not working for you, especially in light of what you might want to do, be, and see in your life. So digging into those agreements is part of it. We'll also look at the context of life, right? Nothing is binary. Nothing is binary. Everything's a continuum. And on a spectrum, between rigidity and chaos, there's a spectrum. If your life is too rigid, bring in some chaos, bring in some unknown. If your life is too unknown and not settled enough, bring in some rigidity, some structure. One person's medicine would be the other person's demise if they listen to that. That's why I think that there's never just one truth. I think that all truths depend on the context of where you find yourself. And that is the context thing. You're not existing in a bubble. You exist in your environment. That is a thing. What is the interplay between you and that environment? What is the context? What is the medicine needed in that moment? And only you are going to know that truly. So I will ask you questions. I can guarantee you that. I will bring resources. I will bring an open heart. I will bring a safe container. I will bring my passion for this area. I will bring my commitment to see through this conversation with you for 6 months, to show up for you day in, day out, whatever's required. That is my commitment to you. And for anyone interested in this program, I ask that you commit to yourself, that you don't get off the roller coaster ride. That's really important. No stopping halfway through, because life will inevitably bring up challenges. And I believe that that's your curriculum of life right now. So instead of just facing these challenges by yourself, hopefully you're not, hopefully you're resourced and you have partners or friends, family, structure around you that already supports you through challenges. I'd like to be an additional structure for your challenges, to support the next evolution, the next phase, the next chapter or iteration of your life, so that you can relate healthily to your wants and desires and needs, to know that what you have, who you are in the world, is a gift. It is not something to be ashamed of or hide. I want you to know and to be able to shine your brightest light into the world. My friends, we need you. We need you. So like I said, if you're just starting this journey, don't go directly into this course. Do the self-love course first. If you have the basics down, and we can talk about this in a free one-on-one, just send me a message and we'll talk for 20 minutes and I'll tell you which program might be better. 8-week self-love course first, or the deep dive 6-month program. I'm so excited. And it starts June, the week of June 12th. It'll be a noon call. I don't know exactly what day yet. Right now, the handful of people that are already signed up are open on the days. So I love it. Already connecting to people in New Zealand and South Africa and obviously the US and Canada. So it's already an international group. Just looking for a few more souls, untethered souls that are ready to step into this journey. So thank you for letting me share. I'm so grateful for this relationship. This feels really beautiful and I'm so grateful for it. So thank you for listening. One last question. If you would like to do a live coaching session, maybe not live, if you would like a free coaching session that you don't mind being recorded and that we could maybe share parts of on Amory, the podcast, and allow others to learn through your breakthroughs, I would be willing to talk to you as well. Looking for 1 to 2 people per month that are willing to do that. So that's what I got for you right now. Thank you, everybody. Sending you love. Enjoy your journey.